Little acceleration here at the A-Class. Wow. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a 2022 Mercedes-Benz A220. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with this A220. Check out the inventory in the description down below. And the really cool thing about the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington is they are a one-price store, so they're going to make your buying experience super easy and straightforward. So definitely check them out. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the video. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 25 around town and then 35 on the highway, with power outputs being 188 horsepower and then 221 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the A-Class. So first off, we have these super distinct body lines on either side of the hood, which I think looks fantastic. Got the signature Mercedes logo, and guess what? It's gray, it's not white or black. It's like every other Mercedes is either white or black. And so yeah, it's cool that this one is gray. Anyways, you guys can see here with the daytime running lights and the headlights, really cool and distinctive. And then notice the signature front grille for the A-Class, and then you got another Mercedes logo down below, the smaller logo. And then I like the accent here off to the side. And you guys can see it's open here at the bottom. And yeah, looks amazing, especially in gray. Now coming on the side here, I've got two 25mm tires wrapped on 19-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And I really like the design here on the wheels. So you can see that it has kind of like a silver face, but notice how on the inside portion of the wheel it's darker in coloration. I think that is pretty unique. We've got this little vent piece here on the side, and then you guys can see with the tire profile, a little bit of the front suspension right there. And then look at the molding here for the fender. Mirror is body painted. You can see you've got the chrome trim around the window, and then you can see we've got the chrome trim on the door handles. And then if we take a few steps back, here's our full side profile, which again, I think it looks really good actually. Now here's the key fob. You guys can see you've got the lock function, the unlock, and then the opening here for the trunk, and then obviously the Mercedes logo there on the front. And look at that, pops all the way open. So first off, we have our AMG floor mats, as you guys can see, and then we've got a little owner's manual and all that stuff right there. But you can see the space underneath, and this is a smaller car, but it's actually pretty solid from a storage space perspective. I'm impressed. You just have to throw it down yourself. Notice they have a little handle right there that you can grab and then just toss it down. Now finishing things up with the rest of the rear, we have our A220 badge. We've got our 4MATIC badge on the other side. We have a low profile spoiler here. And then look at the taillights, again, super distinctive. And then we have another little, well, it's a fake vent piece, but it's a vent piece right there nonetheless. And then I love the coverings for the exhaust tips and then the diffuser as well. You got some chrome trim above that. And overall, I think they did a great job with the rear styling on the A-Class, just the proportions in general. Now here is the door panel in the rear. You guys can see here with the inserts on the side of the door panel, and then notice with the stitching down below. Got our window control here for the rear. Let's get your door lock and unlock, including the door handle. And the grab handle is kind of interesting. Now here are the seats. I love them. So you can see with the leather, and then you got the inserts with the stitching here, all finished in red, which looks really cool. And popping here in the back, you guys can see legroom. Headroom as well. We have some seat storage with this. We got a couple of vents here in the back. We got a little USB port down below. Of course, we have our cup holder armrest situation, which is pretty cool. And let's head to the front. Now here is the front door panel. You guys can see again with the insert, and then you've got the red stitching that goes throughout. And then notice with the window controls, the mirrors do power fold in, and they've got blind spot monitoring. And then we have this to open up the hatch. Heated seats for the front. And then here is the front seat. So you can see again with the padding and stitching, and then notice the insert there in the center. Now the seat is manually adjustable. I'm sure that's because of the microchip shortage. A lot of manufacturers are, taking out certain features just because of the shortage. But nonetheless, moving on from that, we've got the pedals, and then also a Mercedes-Benz logo right here. And then you can see here with the light control, and then look at the material use right there, and also the vents again. And there's the paddles. But let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel. You can see the leather trim all around. We got the red stitching. Notice it's perforated here on the sides to get a slightly better grip with the steering wheel. We do have paddle shifters here on the back for that 7-speed dual clutch automatic. We have some controls here for the center stack, cruise control, controls for the infotainment system, and then volume and voice command controls. And then you have your windshield wiper / turn signal stalk, column shifter, and really nice steering wheel overall. So first off, sorry about the glare, diffused lighting today, and so yeah, it's just kind of what we're dealing with. Anyways, full digital gauge cluster, it looks fantastic. Notice how I can change each individual gauge here. And then also with the center, I can change the information that it shows. And so like just super customizable overall is what you need to know. So basically whatever you want this to show, it can pretty much show it to you, and it's just really cool. And you can also change the formatting. I've showed this in other Mercedes reviews, so you can basically change what it shows here, like from an aesthetic perspective. So notice I can go over to progressive and now it looks completely different. And so again, just amazing gauge cluster. Now the infotainment system is actually connected to the gauge cluster, but this is not a touchscreen, but this is a touchscreen, as you guys can see. But first off, we're gonna pop it into reverse. So we have a traditional backup camera with trajectory lines. They do turn with the steering wheel. Resolution's really solid on the backup camera. And then as for touch screen response time, it's amazing. And notice that we actually have ambient lighting even here in the A-Class, right? Which is definitely just a nice like mood setting luxury feature to have. But if you don't want to use the touchscreen function, again, there's that control in the steering wheel. You can see I'm using that right now to control the touchscreen, or there's a keypad down below. So there's 3 different ways to actually control the screen itself, which is cool. Response time's great, and again, I think that this whole setup is probably the best in the car industry right now. Now here are the vents just down below. Really nice with the finish on them and just the overall aesthetic. We do have dual zone climate controls here, and you guys can see we've got a bunch of storage space here at the bottom. And then again, with our little USB, we've got some cup holders right here, and then we have our control here for the infotainment system, and then some shortcut buttons for that whole setup, and then your volume control. We do have our drive mode select, which will pop up here on the center screen. So notice here at the bottom we got eco, and we got comfort, sport, and individual, and it lets you know exactly what is changing here. So with the A-Class, it's just the steering, the engine, and then the traction control with the different drive modes. And there's that. Here's the center console. You can see there, and then notice again with the red stitching, and then notice with the materials here on the dash how it's got like the perforations in it, which is pretty cool. And you can see the ambient lighting ever so slightly. Another cool little touch. And then here's the glove box, pretty normal setup. And finishing things here at the top. So this isn't a panoramic sunroof technically, but this is a small car, and this is a like, it goes to the back. So it's like a large sunroof. I don't know what to call it, but you got the control for it right there. So here's a window sticker for this A-Class. You guys can see the standard equipment here that comes with the A-Class. So they call it panorama sunroof. Okay. Anyways, notice warranty information. I'm going to start talking about this in reviews so you guys can see 4-year, 50,000 mile warranty, and then 24-hour roadside assistance as well. And then you can see here with the base price, $35,950, which is $10,000 less than the average price of a brand new car in today's market. Now this does have some packages. So first off, $700 credit for not having power adjustable front seats. So I guess I just guessed that, to be completely honest, and I was right. Now this is an AMG line. It's got some other nice options. Total MSRP is $43,530. Now if this didn't have that seat credit, if it had power adjustable seats, then it would be like $44,000, which is still less expensive than the average brand new car. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, and maybe I should I'll clear it off. I did the turn signals to the windshield wiper. Bear with me, I don't drive a Mercedes. Anyways, here's blind spot running through both the mirrors, and then throughout the rest of the rear, you guys can see the visibility as well. And, well, let's set off. So we are setting off here in the A220. And it's been, I think, a couple of years since I've driven and reviewed an A-Class. And I'll kind of give you guys my final opinions at the end of the review, but I think this is a pretty cool car. So first off, the dual clutch is definitely not as refined as the 9-speed automatic. This is the second Mercedes that I've reviewed with the 7-speed dual clutch, and it's not like a bad transmission. It's just that like the 9-speed automatic is so smooth that like everything else feels like just not as good as that 9-speed automatic. But you know, overall, this is still a really solid modern transmission. And the benefit of the dual clutch is it is very quick to shift. It's just at low speeds. Having a dual clutch, having a turbocharged 4-cylinder, there's this slight jerkiness to it. But it's not bad at all. So like, it's not like, you know, early 2000s BMW M3, you know, single clutch automated manual. It's not that. It's more like, oh, I can kind of feel, you know, the transmission engaging a little bit, but it doesn't get in the way at all. Oh, getting up and moving here. We're on the comfort setting right now. And let's kind of talk about the suspension, seat comfort, all that, because I'm sure that most people that are looking into this car are probably going to use this as a daily driver commuter. And so first off, ride quality, it's a Mercedes. It's smooth. Compared to other small size sedans, this feels like it has just a more compliant ride to it. Steering's great too, and we're actually gonna, let's pop it over into the sport mode so I can see the steering difference. Got a little bit more aggressive with the transmission downshifted, just sitting at higher RPMs. It's actually, yeah, we'll just keep it in automatic. But yeah, really smooth. Seat comfort. The bolsters do pop out a little bit. They hold you in place actually really well. Like this feels like a sporty car to be in from a seat perspective, but they're comfortable. I would be completely fine with being in these seats for a very long road trip. And I love the size of this car. It's just like such a nice size, because look at this. Like, this is our little turn that we always do in these Mercedes reviews. So like, I didn't have to turn all the way. Like when I'm in an, you know, an SUV or something, I have to like go full crank, and I can get through, but it's kind of difficult. The maneuverability is so good on this. I'm impressed so far. Get our little acceleration here at the A-Class. Wow. So first off, it's a rainy day, so you know the roads are a little bit damp. Grip is great with this, and I'm pretty sure it's a 4MATIC. Yes, it's a 4MATIC. So yeah, but grip is great, and it's pretty quick. I mean, the power figures don't sound too monstrous on paper, but it gets up and moves. We're actually going to pop it back into comfort for the rest of the video. And yeah, let's get into setting things up here with the A-Class. So first off, it looks like a Mercedes on the outside, and it doesn't, but the thing is, it doesn't look like a cheap Mercedes. That is something that I do want to emphasize in today's video, is this looks just as nice as, you know, higher end models that Mercedes sells that are, you know, 2, 3, 4 times as expensive as this. Now, obviously, if you're very familiar with a brand, then you're gonna be able to tell the difference between an A-Class and an S-Class. And, you know, I feel like a regular person, especially with the S-Class, since it has the big, you know, emblem on the hood, will be able to tell the difference. But the point that I'm trying to make is this looks like an upscale car. This doesn't look like a $40,000 car. It looks a lot more expensive than it is. And the interior, same exact thing. The thing that's great about Mercedes being a luxury automaker is you get some carryover. So you've got the vents from the higher end models. Now the dash material, right, isn't as nice as what you have in higher end models. So that is where they are, you know, saving a little bit of money. But steering wheel, again, this is like the same exact steering wheel you get in a much more expensive Mercedes, and again, they just throw it into the A-Class. Door panel material, same thing, where you actually rest your arm. Now, some of you might not like that compared to leather. I actually like it. It feels nice, and I have it in one of my vehicles, that, you know, the Alcantara, and I don't mind it at all. It actually holds up really well over a long period of time when it's something that your elbow's touching. If it's like hands, not so much, and that's why the steering wheel is leather and not Alcantara, like the armrest. And then from a driving perspective, you know, compared to other cars this size, it's very smooth, it's very comfortable. And again, I just think that Mercedes did a really good job with this car. They made a very nice, affordable luxury car. And I think the best way for me to sum this up is this is actually a car that I'm considering getting for a lease, because it gets really good gas mileage, right? It's comfortable, it's affordable, and you know, it's nicer than like your average run-of-the-mill car in this price range, like a lot nicer. And so yeah, it's just huge value play with the new A-Class, and this is one of my most favorite vehicles in this price range. So yeah, if you are interested in a value play, that's what we'll call this, a very nice value play, check out the new A-Class. Now let's get some things up for review on this A220. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with this A-Class. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I will see all of you in that next video.